What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by special guest Justin Lorber, aka Future Dodgers, friend of the show, here to talk a couple of videos. We're going to talk Futures Game. We're going to talk Draft coming up after this. So lots of content coming at you. Justin, first, it's been a while. How's life treating you?
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Good. Well, let's talk Futures Game. It's coming up on Saturday night, part of the All-Star weekend. The Dodgers have two guys representing them. Thayron Liranzo and Jeral Perez will be the two players. Two guys that I don't know how many people are going to be familiar with both of them. Some might be familiar with Liranzo. Liranzo is a catcher. Perez is an infielder. Let's start with Liranzo. He's the more highly rated of the two. MLB Pipeline had him as their number 8 prospect. He's 21 years old. Justin, I had conversations with some people when I was last doing some prospect rounds with guys across the industry. Some people like Liranzo as much, if not more, as any other Dodger catching prospect in the system, which is saying something considering how highly rated Dalton Rushing and even Diego Cartaya was at the time. What's your take on sort of Liranzo as he's made his way up to high A this year?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'd put him probably behind Dalton Rushing if you're ranking catchers. But yeah, I think that's not an unfair opinion. A ton of power. He's a switch hitter, but he's better from the left side, which if you're going to pick a side, probably better to be better from the left side than the right side. He's not a standout defensive catcher, but I think so far he's held his own. He's struggled a little bit with the transition to high A. He really just obliterated low A last year. This year, he is, stayed above water, 109 weighted runs created plus. So still an above average hitter, still showing off that power. Just, not the same level that he's dominated the minors so far in his early career.
The second guy on this list is a name that, I'll be honest, I'm far less familiar with than Liranzo, and that's Jeral Perez. He has been I believe, at single A this year. He's 19 years old, wasn't really on the radar, at least coming into the season. MLB Pipeline, again, has him as the number 17 prospect in the Dodgers system. I read that he made some tweaks to his approach, to his mechanics at the beginning of the year that kind of is part of the reason why maybe his stock has started to improve. What do you know about Perez, a guy that, again, we're going to get a chance to see a little bit of in a big stage at the Futures Game?
Yeah, definitely a surprise. I think even after, the season he's had, still a little bit surprising for someone that young, for someone who's at low A. I think it's probably changing a little bit with the Futures Game, where it's a little bit more diverse in terms of the range of the minor league prospects who are coming to play. But still, definitely a tough ask if he gets into the game and gets in at bat against a double or triple A pitcher. That said, I think you could probably describe him best with the phrase sneaky power. If you look at him, he's 6 foot. He's not super stocky, but he's hit throughout the entire minor leagues with some impressive power. He had 8 home runs in the Dominican Summer League just during his first professional season. Last year in the Complex League, 11 home runs in just 53 games. This year, 9 homers in 67 games. Above average weighted runs created plus through all of those, 120 and above, except for a short stint in low A last year where he had a 118. So still well above average. Has played multiple infield spots, played a little bit of shortstop, but typically I think more second base, more third base. He's had himself a nice breakout season. Certainly deserving of a Futures Game spot, and I'll be excited to see him get into a game.
Is there, it's just one game. I remember when they did the spring showcase against the Angels. Like, do you put any stock into what you see? Like you said, for a guy like Perez and even Liranzo, you're going to see them facing, I was reading, I think there's like 20 of the top 100 prospects in MLB Pipeline are going to be in this game. And so, like, do you put any stock into what Liranzo does in 1, maybe 2 at bats, Perez the same thing? Or is it just kind of like, hey, fun that you're there, but doesn't really matter to me how you look in that setting?
I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but probably more the latter. It is one game. These guys are professionals, even if they're facing guys who are 2 and 3 levels above them. I think with the spring showcase game, that was more of, you're getting to see these guys after an off season. For some of the recent draftees, it was really the first time we were seeing them.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think it's great that they have the Futures Game on a Saturday instead of coinciding with the first day of the draft like they did for a little bit. I'm not sure why that decision was ever enacted, but they've got it on its own night now. It definitely deserves its own night. And yeah, even though the Dodgers don't have, one of those, super big name elite prospects playing, still a couple of guys who are worth knowing in the system and worth watching the game for, in addition to all the other talented prospects.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned the draft, by the way. We've got another video coming out in the next day or two. Justin and I talking about the draft, getting ready for that one. So make sure you stay tuned here to the Dodger Blue YouTube page for that. That is Justin Lorber. You can find him on social media at FutureDodgers, FutureDodgers.com as well. Justin, thank you for the time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. As always, go Dodgers. Perfect. All right. I will send you a new link for the draft. So as far as prospect stuff, and you could be honest with me because I'm good either way. Would you feel comfortable doing a video kind of doing hey, here's where some of these prospects are at after a few months, or would you rather just skip that video entirely?
Yeah. I mean, if it's stuff if what I did there was fine, then yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Just probably not as much detail as I'm usually, or at least in the past, that I've been able to go into.
Okay. Yeah, before we do it, I can give you some of my questions. I mean, one of the things which I think you could probably speak to without having to be plugged in is a big debate that's happened on our show that I've seen on social media is can the Dodgers develop hitters or do they suck at developing hitters? And so that could be a conversation that I'm sure you feel even without the last 3 months of data. I don't know if anything that's happened in the first half of the AAA season is going to have a dramatic impact on how you process through a question like that. So that's not specific to any individual guys, but so I think it'll be great. And again, before we do that video, I'll just read off the questions and you can be yeah, I don't have anything on that guy or whatever. So, okay, I'm going to send you a link. We'll do MLB draft. Oh, I don't know why that's still recording.